just circus.
Yeah. Look, according to BetOnline.ag, Gervonta Davis is favored -240. Jake Paul's +190. So more than twice the odds for Davis. Davis is a lot smaller, but he's a real serious fighter.
I'm predicting a third-round knockout.
Ooh.
Third
round knockout.
He's out of there.
Jake Paul, I think when he weighed in for Mike Tyson, was 227 pounds. That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference. Almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. That is called one thing. That's called being a bully.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. They just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
Stephen A. Smith, famous for his outspoken commentary, offered a measured yet firm call on Paul versus Davis. He predicts Tank Davis takes this one, not by relying solely on his knockout ability, but through sharper IQ, steady composure, and technical execution. In Smith's view, Jake Paul's biggest weapon is his size, but that same size can lead to overconfidence. Smith points out that Tank has already dismantled bigger and longer fighters with methodical breakdowns. He envisions this fight stretching the full distance, with Davis outscoring Paul by winning rounds, adjusting mid-fight, and capitalizing on openings in Paul's defense.
Gervonta Davis might be every bit as box office as Maverick himself. As exciting, as electric, because this dude performs every time out, y'all. Wherever Davis goes, wherever he fights, fans justifiably follow. He's that special. And Davis is without a doubt one of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world right now. Don't you even doubt it.
Hall of Fame trainer and boxing philosopher Teddy Atlas kept his focus on possibilities rather than numbers. His angle, what happens if Tank lands a shot? Atlas insists that, size aside, one precise punch from Davis could close the show immediately. He reminds fans that Davis' knockout power has carried through multiple divisions, flooring top-level opponents with one clean hit. Atlas also emphasized that Paul's chin hasn't been tested against a puncher of Davis' caliber. His take isn't about whether the bout goes 12 rounds, but about the lurking threat that even if Paul boxes well with his jab and leads on points, one Davis counter could flip the fight in a heartbeat.
What if Tank Davis, who can punch, who is a hell of a fighter, who is the top 10 pound-for-pound fighter, what if he lands a punch on this bigger guy's chin, right, who's not a professional fighter? What happens? What happens? That's what would sell it. I know the size difference is what creates the problem.
Two-time world champion Sean Porter gave a strategic perspective on the matchup. He believes Paul will start quickly, using bulk, energy, and aggression to push Davis back early. But Porter foresees Tank staying calm, reading Paul's rhythm, and then turning the tide with steady pressure. Between rounds 6 and 9, Porter expects Davis to seize full control, landing sharp counters and exploiting Paul's fatigue. His forecast is a clear decision for Davis, though he admits a late stoppage is possible if Paul's gas tank empties. Porter sums it up as a battle of power versus Polish, and argues that over time, Polish prevails.
And, the thing that I really appreciate about Tank is he's a dog. That kind of that what he just said. You can put them earmuffs up and go at it. Mm-hmm. He kind of will assess you as well, and whatever he needs to do, he'll do it. You know. So
right. Daniel Cormier weighed in with a balanced but cautious view of the fight. He acknowledges Davis as the far more polished boxer, technically sound and battle-tested, yet he can't ignore the significant weight difference between the two. Cormier raised questions about the fairness of that gap, but also credited Paul for daring to face a proven world champion. Ultimately, DC's position leans heavily toward Davis winning with ease if the matchup plays out normally, though he notes the size factor introduces unpredictability that can't be dismissed.
Boxing gets ridiculous. Gervonta Davis is fighting Jake Paul. Yesterday they had their first press conference. One of the most recognizable things is Jake Paul is huge compared to Gervonta Davis. And 2, Gervonta Davis don't even know what weight they fighting, dude.
Maximum weight of 195 pounds for this exhibition. The fight will be contested over 10 3-minute rounds.
I said it was 190.
The fight is 195 pounds, Tank, as you know.
Former world champion Shakur Stevenson gave a perspective rooted in both respect and realism. He praised Tank Davis as the sharper, smarter, and more dangerous fighter, but urged people not to dismiss Jake Paul's size and heavy hands. Stevenson admitted that Tank should win this matchup 8 times out of 10, yet he allowed for the rare scenario where Paul's right hand changes everything. His pick leaned heavily toward Davis, but his cautionary tone highlighted that even veterans recognize a small element of danger in Paul's unpredictable rise.
Maybe he'll fight Jake Paul instead. What do you think of that?
I think that's terrible.
Why?
I mean, I get it, because at the end of the day, it's the money business, and you want to make the most money, but from what I'm hearing, he can make more money in a fight with me, and if that's the case, why not fight me?
Sure. Do you think he beats Jake Paul?
Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
there's a huge size advantage, though.
It is, but I think Tank got the skills to make sure he come out on top.
Hall of Famer Andre Ward approached the fight with his usual technical clarity. He acknowledged Paul's size advantage, but reminded that boxing has always favored skill, craft, and discipline. Ward pointed out that Tank has repeatedly solved bigger men by closing distance, slipping shots, and landing sharp counters. He suggested Paul's jab and physicality could frustrate Davis early, but once Tank adapts, he'll force Paul into exchanges he can't survive. Ward's verdict was simple: Davis by clear decision, possibly wide, as long as he avoids turning it into a reckless fight.
I don't hate it. There's a part of me that's interested. I want to see what's the size discrepancy. The sparring partners for these dudes, that's going to be a crazy look for both of them. In the opposite direction. If I can see your sparring partners,
right,
Gervonta, and see Jake Paul's sparring partner.
Yeah, it's a great point.
It's gonna be a crazy photo op.
Yeah.
But the fight itself, Ariel, I like good fights, and I want to see what's gonna happen. How Gervonta Davis gonna deal with the size discrepancy? How is Jake Paul gonna deal with a guy that's as small as Gervonta Davis? Call me crazy.
Legendary champion Roy Jones Jr. gave his breakdown with a balance of realism and respect. He leaned firmly toward Davis as the favorite, praising his speed, skill, and ability to set traps. Jones conceded that Paul's power and size could create danger in certain spots, but stressed that Tank's precision and explosiveness give him multiple paths to win. In his eyes, Davis not only has the tools to outbox Paul over the distance, but also the power to end it if an opening appears, making him the safer pick despite the physical mismatch.
To Tank's credit, I'm interested in the Tank Jake Paul exhibition because I know for a fact that if they do it for real, Tank is capable, although he's small, he's capable of knocking Jake Paul out, just like Jake Paul probably capable of knocking him out because he's so much bigger.
So you believe that?
I believe
no
that.
No doubt about it.
Without a question, if they fight for real. If they don't, if they say, no, well, we're going to take care of Jake, just want to go through and learn more, then he might not knock him out. You understand me? But if they do it for real, Tank is highly capable of taking Jake Paul out. So the exhibitions that I like to see are ones that either I can mythically look at and say, wow.
Ryan Garcia, who has shared the ring with Tank Davis, gave a perspective shaped by first-hand experience. He confidently picked Davis, citing Tank's blistering speed, sharp timing, and punishing left hand as tools Paul can't withstand. Still, Garcia acknowledged that Paul's natural size could create issues, particularly in clinches and mid-range exchanges. His call was straightforward: Davis wins, most likely on the scorecards, though Paul's physicality might make it less comfortable than usual. Coming from someone who has felt Tank's power, Garcia's words reinforced why few fighters are willing to bet against him.
Bro, that's a fucking disgrace of a fight.
Yeah.
You know it. Just like Mike Tyson, low-key was a disgrace, but we accepted it. But
yeah,
he was 60 years old. I mean, the casuals don't see the weight difference. They see Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis.
Yeah.
And if Gervonta Davis doesn't fuck up Jake Paul, they're going to think Jake Paul is some pound-for-pound champion type of fighter.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis, he's actually really small. Like, when I fought him, he's small.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a very unfair fight.
The boxing media, especially those who regularly score fights, leaned heavily in Davis' favor. Analysts pointed out that Paul's resume is built on non-elite opponents, while Tank has consistently delivered against world-class names. Their forecast: Davis controls the majority of rounds, lands the sharper punches, and leaves the judges little doubt. Some suggested Paul could grab a round or two with sheer aggression, but almost none saw a scenario where he outpoints Davis. The near-unanimous expectation was Tank by wide or unanimous decision.
Jake Paul, Tank Davis fight got moved to Miami.
I think Jake wins.
Jake's just so big, dude.
I think Jake wins.
This is different because it's similar. It's similar to Logan versus Mayweather, but Jake Paul now obviously is way more advanced than where Logan was at that moment in time.
Taken together, the outlook is clear. The vast majority of fighters, trainers, and pundits back Gervonta Tank Davis to win, whether by decision or late stoppage. His versatility, experience, and knockout power are seen as decisive. Yet nearly every breakdown included the same caveat. Jake Paul's size and knockout right hand remain dangerous unknowns. One clean connection could change everything. The bottom line, Davis is the overwhelming favorite, but boxing's beauty lies in its uncertainty. All it takes is a single punch to turn predictions upside down, and that's what keeps this matchup alive with intrigue.